Every rapper need to lose their deals and earn them back. Most of them then let the industry take them and turn them whack. I be spitting from the soul so they feel you, boy. I want your ear and your heart like a million, boy.
We were talking about the concepts. The concepts that you come up with are brilliant. And your foresight to actually see what's going on not only in the industry but around us is something very unique. How do you first of all see it, and then how do you put it into a song?
Yeah,
I was about to cry.
I see it because, like, I live through this stuff. I really, I'm in touch with what's going on a day-to-day basis as far as, like, the pulse of people. So whatever issues are, like, holding us back as people, whatever issues are really the hot topics of conversation, in barbershops or in people's conversation, like, I'm in touch with what that is, and that allows me to say, all right, cool, this is where people's focus and attention is, and, if people's focus and attention is on, like, talking about what celebrities do with their money and with their power and with their fame, that allows me to write a song like J. 50 and Weezy, because I know that a lot of people felt the same way as I felt with that song. They're like, man, all these dudes with all this money, and they always talking about they come from the hood and this and that, but you don't ever see them, like, what are they doing to really give back? Or, with you stupid fool, just really, if I just took a day and said, man, let me just ride around and just be an observer and let me just listen to what people care about and what people are talking about, and let me just watch TV for a day.
Yeah.
I see a lot of the concepts and a lot of the situations that I talked about in You Stupid Fool. Unfortunately, if I go on, different blog sites, to see what's getting the most hits. I see that World Star Hip Hop is like one of the most popular sites. I mean, they've posted my stuff before, but for the most part, what they post is type of stuff that will make people say, oh, you saw that teacher getting beat up on World Star, or you saw that, you saw that fight, between those two gangs, or this or that, or whatever, just all that type of stuff. So that's, and that's what's getting a lot of the traffic and a lot of the hits. So that's why I'm able to write songs like that, because it's real, number one, and number two, I'm not afraid to go there. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm not gonna go there. That might be risky.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you had any backlash? You know what I mean? Like, from that song, with talking about 50, and Jay-Z, and, like, have you had any backlash from that?
No, I haven't.
Good.
Not public backlash.
And Weezy, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
I've done a couple shows with him. The tours I've been on recently, I've been on like some real nationwide tours. Yeah, recently, with Lecrae, with Macklemore, but with Lil Wayne, it was just like a couple shows here and there, not anything super expensive. But now, when I say that there's no public backlash, that's real important to know that I haven't seen anything in front of my face or a response from any of those guys to where I'm like, oh yeah, man, I did feel what happened, because, when 50 Cent saw me, he told me this, or he called me out or whatever. Not like that, but as far as private backlash, I think that the situation with Lil Wayne, more so than the other ones, I think that there might be some private, like, backlash, because his label actually, like Cash Money, they were interested in signing me not too long ago, and they were actually like courting me and like reaching out to me, and it wasn't Lil Wayne directly, it was one of the other like CEOs over there, and it's crazy because I think it's weird how that whole situation kind of like ended up or whatever. It's real, it's just weird. It's kind of like a mystery, like what happened, because they were like going super hard for a second, and one of my theories is that might have been one of the things, is that, maybe he caught wind of it and was like, oh no, this is the same dude who...
The thing is
I don't know. That's a theory, though. That's a theory.
Well, the thing is with that song, it's not like an immediate bash. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're like immediately.
It's a whole concept that you're saying.
Exactly.
You know,
it's not like intentional, like immediately. Okay, on this dude, on that dude, or whatever.
It's just a concept in general.
Exactly.
Well, we don't need
So
to explain your song to you.
Yes, I can understand.
But I'm glad y'all get it though, because some people don't get it. Yeah, and some people are like, like, why are you? What are you jealous of them? Are you trying to?
No, it's not like that at all. No, it's the concept.
Yeah, the whole undertaking of what's really going on, and you really deconstruct not only the music industry but the pawns that are being played. You know what I mean? So, can you speak about a little bit about the impact the media is having on the masses from your perspective, because you're living your God-given destiny. You've gone for it. And as you look around, I see a lot of people trying to strive to be like the rich and famous. Do you think now that you've attained a certain level of fame, do you believe that that is the true path to fulfillment like many people see on television?
Then what is the
fame and fortune, living that lifestyle. A lot of people think, hey, if I can just make it, if I can just look like one of them, then I'll be fulfilled. I'll be cool. I'll be whatever.
Right. Yeah, indeed, that is so. Man, I feel so bad for people who chase that for their whole lives, like, because honestly, it's the type of race that you'll run, and you're trying to look like something, and when you finally get to that finish line and you look like that, and you spent all this time, and so you think it's gonna make people like you or accept you a certain way. It's just a very empty feeling when you finally get to that finish line and you realize that it's really a hollow it's a hollow finish line. It's a very shallow finish line. So now people who build their happiness around that type of stuff, that's not cool. And I guess it's my job I think one of my things is to be able to be in the position of showing them, like, look, y'all, I'm living this life. I'm here. I'm around all this stuff. I'm a part of all this stuff. But it's still with all that exposure and with all this access to this, my happiness doesn't lie here, and I don't put my faith in this industry or in this in this fame and fortune.
Gotcha.
That you might see me around. I think that's what's important, is to show, because people don't really respect your opinion as much if you haven't been there and done that, or if you haven't been a part of it or even seen it up close and personal. They'll be like, yeah, you just telling me that, but you never been around all that stuff before, so you don't know. But to be around all that stuff and to be amidst all that stuff, to be in it but not of it. I think that's what's important, to be able to show people, like, look, y'all, I'm in it. Look at me. You see me on TV. You see me here. You see me doing all this stuff, but I'm not of it. Like, this stuff, I could be happy without this stuff in a snap of a finger, and I'll still be good, because my happiness doesn't come from.
But I wanted to ask you, how did math teacher become D1? You know what I'm saying? Like, how did it go from that? That's really what I want to know.
Okay, now that's a great. It's so funny. I woke up this morning and I thought I was late for this interview, so I was hurrying and going through my phone calendar. I was like, oh shoot! But then amidst all that, I got on Twitter real quick and I retweeted one of my former students who I saw wrote. He said, a lot of people don't know this, but D1, and he added me in it, like, D1 Music used to be my middle school teacher. He said then I used to play basketball against him. He said now I'm one of his biggest fans.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
That's great.
Nice.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that, I mean, even when I was teaching a couple of years ago, I was still pursuing my rap career, and I had been rapping before I started teaching. So I started rapping while I was in college. So when I was teaching, it wasn't like I wasn't a rapper already. It's just that it hadn't gotten to the point where, to be honest with you, it was a money thing. It hadn't gotten to the point where I could make a living off of being a hip hop artist full time. So that's why that's part of the reason why teaching came into play. Yep. And after doing that, you know, God continued to bless me and increase my platform to the point where I was like, you know what, it still wasn't an easy decision. It was still a risk when I did it, but it was to the point where I was like, you know what, I think I think it's about that time. You know, you just feel stuff in your spirit, in your gut sometimes, and I was like, I feel like it's about that time for me to step out here and pursue this full time.
It kind of leads into my next question. A lot of people know, you know, their God-given purpose. They're like, okay, I feel like I'm meant to do this, but they have a 9-to-5, such as you had, you know, when you were a teacher. What advice would you give to them? I guess what I got from your last answer is just continue doing it until they're able to transition to doing their God-given destiny full-time, you know, because it's like...
Everybody got bills, rent, you know, car payment, all that kind of stuff. And it just, you know what I'm saying? It distracts you because it's like, okay, wait a minute. Am I going to go to the studio right now, you know, or am I going to, you know, am I going to go to this acting class or whatever the case is?
Part of CreativeSoul, well, the main purpose is to inspire others to take their God-given purpose to the next level. And by interviewing people who are doing it with integrity and so forth, how do you get to that point?
Yeah, that's everybody's journey is unique. I think the timing of it for everyone is unique. Like some people they might feel that pull while they're still in school before they even graduate. For me, it was I never really felt like, oh, I'm about to quit school, you know, behind this. My timetable wasn't that fast. It was pretty much, I was really just starting to rap while I was in school and kind of getting, you know, honing my skills and getting that under my belt. I think that in order to do it, number one, you want to be skilled enough in your craft to where it's like, you know what, people will be willing to pay me to do what it is that I love to do if I do step out here and do this full time. So I gotta be good enough, first of all, like non-biased speaking, not, oh, my grandma loved my stuff. No, like, people really have to, you know, people really have to be like, nah, this is really good. Like, yeah, I would be willing to, you know, pay to do this. Because even if people say they're willing to pay to do it, actually getting them to pay, you know, whether that's a company
another thing,
paying you to write, whether that's a company paying you to write, whether that's a person paying to come see your show, whatever that may be, whether that's a patron who's buying your art, you know, if you're a painter or a visual artist. So that's one thing. I think the second thing is, as much as possible, just being practical about it, like trying to keep your expenses down.
Yeah.
Because the less you have to pay for, then the more you can say, all right, cool, I can get by on making less. Like, I'm not a high maintenance type of person, never have been. So that made it to the point where, like, my image, my quote-unquote rap image was me being myself, which was great because it was like, oh, I don't have this image where I gotta be seen in a Rolex and Versace shades every time I step out the house, or gotta be in the drop-top Benz or whatever. Like, that's not what my image was. So there was no pressure to really, to really have to keep up with the Joneses and therefore go broke. You know what I mean? Behind it. So.
And what role did spirituality play in that transition?
What role did virtuality?
Spirituality.
Oh, spirituality. Oh, gosh. Yeah. I thought that was an internet question. Spirituality, that played the biggest role as far as, that was step number one, was me praying on the decision. And not just praying on it because I knew that I had my mind made up, but literally praying on it and waiting for confirmation, waiting for for God to speak to me and kind of reveal how he felt. And I feel like he spoke to me in a few different ways. One was, I was like, God, I would want to make sure, number one, that I would be a good steward of the gifts you have given me, and that I would be, responsible with the increased platform that you would give me. So that's one thing that I was real serious about. Is I've always prayed, like, if I'm supposed to rap, then if I'm not supposed to rap, then let me know. But if I'm supposed to rap, then let me blow. Like, let like keep opening doors for me, and definitely I felt more and more doors being open for me, like hands down, to the point where my second year teaching, which was my last year, that second year, like we get 10 vacation days per year, and I would say after like the first 2 or 3 months of the school year, I was down to 0 vacation days left because I had to use all of them for either out-of-town shows that people were requesting me for, or just big opportunities that were all music-related that I was like, you know what, this warrants me taking a day off. Like, this is a big opportunity. And at that point, I was like, man, like 2 or 3 months into the year, I'm out of days. I was like, and I don't want to be the type of teacher who has a substitute in here, 50% of the year for these students. Like, I care about the students enough. So I was like, yeah, like doors are continuing to open, and it's making it harder and harder to be full-time at teaching and at being an artist. So that was important. The other thing that was important was I feel like God gave me the blessing of my parents, and which I wasn't sure how they were going to feel about it. And when I finally built up the courage to run it by them, they were fully supportive. They were fully supportive, and they're the type of parents who are like, we know you're smart, we know you've never really made bad decisions. They were like, we don't have any money to give you if this doesn't work out, so you're going to have to go back to getting a job to pay your bills. But they were like, as far as us just rooting for you and co-signing this decision, we co-signed it. I was like, well, that's cool.
How are you able to stay obedient even in the face of fear? Have you ever been like afraid? Have you ever needed that courage and you know that you're going to go to the next level, but God's telling you, okay, you need to do this, and it's like you kind of have one foot in, one foot out, but you're like, all right, I'm just going to do it. Remain obedient,
Definitely. I'm going through that right now. It's funny you say that, definitely, because there's always, whatever level you're on, there's always the next level above that. And I think, to get to that next level, what I've seen at least is, with me, it's required giving another part of myself, giving a greater portion of who I am, or of everything, whether it's my finances, me investing into myself, whether it's having to sacrifice possibly a friendship or a relationship or just different things. And I've definitely been afraid at different points, or been kind of resistant to giving some of that stuff up, because these things that we have, we're comfortable with them, and we're, they provide like a sense of security around us. Like, I'm used to being with this person, or I'm used to, having this amount of money in the bank, or this or that, or I'm used to, whatever it is. Even as far as the direction I'm going in my music right now, like, my music is a lot more, my music has always been spiritually driven and motivated, but now it's like really taking up a serious, left turn in that direction, and not in a way that's alienating, any other crowds that listen to me, but it's just really not sugarcoating, where I stand spiritually, and what's the basis and the foundation for why I do what I do. And in me doing that, there's that one part that's like, are my mainstream fans gonna look at me like, what is Dee-1 doing now? Did he turn into a gospel rapper, or this or that or whatever? And then, having to worry about everybody wanting to put me in this box. And me realizing that, like, I don't think God made me to be in their box. I think he kind of put me here to say, here, like, create your own box and have other people trying to fit it.
It is. It's coming through. It definitely is being created, because when I see you, and also when I see Lecrae, for instance, there's no, and a couple of other guys on Reach Records, but mainly, you two, there's no box for you guys. It's completely a new frontier. It's like you guys are creating something completely different, So, I think that's good. It's like Lupe. He's not known for being labeled for his, religious beliefs. He's just a conscious rapper, So when I see you, I want to interview guys like you and not put you in that same type of category as Christian rapper. It doesn't need to be. You are Christian, but you're a rapper. You're a conscious rapper, so. Okay, so I wanted to know, what type of impact do you want your music to have, and what types of change do you want to see come out of it?
I definitely want my music to. I think not everything in life is black and white, but, some things, like important things, are black and white. And I think one thing is good versus evil, and I think that everything that we do is either, it's either motivated and rooted in something good, or ultimately rooted and motivated in something, that's evil. And, two words that are very similar to good and evil are God and the devil, you know what I mean? So ultimately I would want my music to bring people closer to God, to be honest with you. Like I want people to hear my music and get motivated. Like I want my music to be able to be that playlist that people are like, I listen to this when I want to get motivated. Now, motivated to do what? Motivated to do the right thing. Motivated to get out there and fulfill your destiny, fulfill your mission, on earth. And that's really where I stand. That's the primary purpose for my music, man. Like straight up,
Okay.
And I wanna do all this, of course, while entertaining, people at the same time. Like I wanted to number one entertain people.